Hi, thanks so much for joining in and happy Friday to you. This is Ask Profit on NDTV Profit. My name is Alex Matt. With me as always is Mahima Vachajani. Happy Friday, Mahima.
Happy Friday.
And
a happy weekend too.
Happy weekend, not yet, but soon.
Soon, yeah.
But before we get to the weekend, this show is geared towards getting you answers to all of your stock-related questions. And to that end, there are two ways that you can get in touch with us. And I'm not talking about standing outside our office. Some of you might know where that is. But you can call us on the landline number that is on the bottom of your screen, I think, yes. And you can send us a message on the number on the top of the screen. But for now, let's very quickly take a look at where the markets are. And it's as flat can be this morning. In fact, look at the Nifty 50 at this point. It is unchanged from the previous close. And it's been in a very tight range. This has been the case for the last couple of sessions, perhaps. This will be the case over the course of today as well. There's a little bit of anticipation because you're waiting for this trade deal between the US and India to come through. And of course, there are a lot of individual stocks that are moving to business updates, but the earnings season will start soon enough. And so that will have to be borne in mind as well. The broader markets are looking relatively better, but are also trading with gains of only about 0.33% for the mid-cap index and about 0.2% for the small-cap index. A few stocks that are moving quite dramatically in trade today, of course, you have this SEBI order on Jane Street that is influencing a few stocks. And if you didn't know about that yet, they have been accused of market manipulation. This is a hedge fund from the US, Jane Street, and over the course of a couple of financial years, they have made supernormal profits. The allegation is that they manipulated the derivatives trade by influencing trade in certain constituents, particularly on expiry days. Apparently 21 days over the course of this time frame is what they manipulated, and the impounding of over 5,000 or 4,500 crore or thereabouts is the largest that SEBI has ever done, which is a very significant deal. So a few stocks reacting to that as well. But I think Trent stands out, Mahima, as the big accident of the day, if you can call it that.
Absolutely. I think two things not working for sure for the company. The commentary that the management had in the AGM is one thing that's something that the street is not liking. And secondly, the Q1 update, the overall growth came in at 20% versus that of a 35% of a 5-year CAGR, right? They said they'll do at least 25%, but they've done 20%. And I think the street is disappointed with respect to that.
It's trading at over 100 times.
Exactly. I mean, valuations were never cheap for this counter. So it's down 7% on the back of that. I really want to point out Sapphire Foods as well, because the stock is up 9% as we speak, and this is because of media reports suggesting that Devyani International and Sapphire Foods, which are both in fact owning Yum brands, KFC as well as Pizza Hut, might be demerged, and that's why
one of our producers, Anas, came up with a nice tagline: "Is Sapphire Collab 2.0 on the cards?"
Yes, absolutely.
Very nice.
So that stock particularly is on the top of my mind, but a lot of other counters that are also doing in trade, well in trade in fact. Let's try to pull that up, the BSE 500, and see what are those counters that are buzzing in trade today. It's a whole host of stocks on the back of business updates as well. There's Natco, which is doing well. Me and Alex were discussing in the morning, it's volume growth that has probably aided the stock. PC Jewelers, revenue up 8%. The stock is doing well in trade today. There's Credit Access up 7%, doing well in trade today as well. So all of these counters in focus on the back of news flow. But with that, let's also welcome in our guest for the day, Sameer Dalal of Natweb and Sons stockbroker, and Jatin Gedia of Mire Asset Sheikh Khan joining us now. Welcome to both of you, gentlemen, and a very good morning to both of you. We'll go to the first caller of the day today. Pradeep is calling in from Bengaluru. Pradeep, hi. A very good morning to you. How can we help you today?
Very good morning to you and Alex. Mahima, this fine organics I'm having, 10 shares that purchased at 4688.
Right.
So, see, I've been holding it for 2 years and it has recently come out of the red. So, I just wanted to check whether I should hold it or should I book whatever profits I have.
Okay. And Pradeep, when you bought this counter, you saw the fundamentals of the company?
Yeah. Fundamentals, because basically I'm a long-term investor.
Got it, Pradeep. I got your question. I'll take this up with Sameer. Sameer, hi. A very good morning to you. Fine Organics is the counter. What's the view like?
Morning, Mahima. Sorry, no coverage on this company.
All right, Jatin, then your quick view on Fine Organics. How are the charts faring?
Yeah, see, considering that the investor is sitting on a profit, I would request him to book partial profits and continue to hold with a trailing stop loss at 5,100. On the upside, the immediate target that we are seeing is around 5,500 to 5,600. So continue to hold partial and some profit booking is advisable.
NTPC Green is the name of the counter we're talking about next, and Anupama is writing in from Bengaluru. She's got 725 shares, which she's bought at a price of 111.35. Can she hold for 1 year? The renewable play, Samir, what's the view on this one in the context of the other opportunities available? And quite a few of these stocks in the power space have been doing quite well for themselves.
Yes, absolutely. And I think NTPC Green also. But the problem is, I think the person only wants to hold it for 1 year. 1 year might be a little short of a period for NTPC Green, for the simple reason that all of their projects that are going to come on stream will really only start delivering the bulk of the revenue, progressively over the year. And so you will not get the full benefits of all the revenues and profits that come through, because this is a very high not gross margin, but EBITDA margin business, right? So you have to put the capex up front, and then from the sale of power that you get, you're able to generate the profits after repaying X amount of interest and all of that. So this is a long-term play. The valuations from a 1 year perspective look expensive because the client, the person, speaker has asked for 1 year. I say you're not going to get too much upside. Any rallies you get closer to 120, take your money. But if you have a long-term view, I think this can be a stock that can comfortably give you a CAGR return of about 15 to 20% over a 5-year period, and is one of our investments in the renewable energy space as well.
Okay. All right. The next question I think is going to be an interesting one. Geeta is calling us from Bengaluru. Geeta, very good morning to you. How can we help you today?
I bought a IEX share on the level of 178.
Okay.
On the 1 year perspective. Okay. How many months I hold this?
Okay. And so you bought it from a trading perspective, right?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. While I will go to Jatin on the charts, I also want, Samir, your view on the latest numbers, the business update that came through. What I read was the June traded volume was not very significant, single-digit growth, but for the quarter as a whole, I think double digits, so 15% if I remember correctly. So what do you make of that? And also the pricing question marks about IEX and whether you would buy on the fundamentals. But Jatin, if you bought at levels of 178 with a time frame of a year, what do you do with this?
Simply put a stop loss at 190, 193 odd levels. In 190 would be a good level below which we don't see the stock slipping below immediately. So 190 should be kept as a stop loss, and on the upside, the immediate target that we are seeing is 218 to 220 odd levels. So continue to hold with a 190 stop loss for a target of 218, 220.
So hold is a view. Samir, on the fundamentals, would you initiate a buy at this point, and given the information that I just spoke about?
Yes, I would initiate a buy at this point. Okay, so let me tell you why I would do that. First of all, India, like we've discussed, and we've discussed this stock with you, Alex, before. So what we are saying is only about 3 to 4% of India's total energy volume is happening on the exchanges, and globally they can go as high as 80 and 90% as well, right? I'm not saying we're going to reach there, but even if from 4-5% that we are at, we reach a 15% to 18% over, say, the next 5 years, you're talking of the market tripling. Now, this is a similar business model to the MCX and BSE story, where my costs are fixed. I've got my platform. I've got it running. I have everything in place. And as the volumes increase, for every tick of volume that happens, I charge a revenue. And for that revenue, goes straight into my PBT, right? So the operating leverage is very strong. So if you look at it on today's historical earnings, the stock will look fairly valued to slightly fully valued. But we feel the growth opportunity for this entire space is so good and is so robust that I think this could be a stock that can become a multi-bagger over the next 5 years, and hence I would go ahead and invest.
That's an excellent explanation, Sameer, I must say. I was trying to understand the space and that answers a lot of my questions. So thank you so much for that. All right, the next question is from Jay, who's writing in from Mumbai. He's bought 150 shares of Trent at 6950 from a longer term perspective and wants to know if he can continue to hold or not. Sameer, I'll again come to you on this one. Yesterday in the AGM, the kind of commentary that came in, something that the street is not liking, plus Q1 update. I was just telling in the start of the show that it came at 20% growth, which was supposed to be around 25%, and the 5-year CAGR has been 35%. So I think the street is not happy with the 20% growth per se for Trent. What do you, how do you read this? Do you think this is because of a one-off, or do you think that this should be the new normal for Trent?
Okay, so probably not the new normal. I still think there's a lot of growth opportunity. So I think we could probably do 25 to 30% growth for a company like Westside, given the kind of store expansions and brand presence and the various business initiatives that are there. For example, they're getting into the jewelry, which is the lab-grown diamond business. They're expanding their shoes vertical. They're expanding their makeup, their fragrance, makeup, and all these accessories vertical. So I think there's a lot of growth opportunity there. Is it a one-off? Look, let's be honest, 35% CAGR, which they had over the last many years, was excellent. But as your base becomes bigger, it becomes difficult to continue to sustain growing at the same level. So if I go back into history I'm just giving another company, HDFC Bank or a Bajaj Finance, they used to grow at 35, 40%, and the growth rates have come down. But that doesn't mean that the companies are not growing or not going to do well. So I still believe Trent will do well. The same-store sales growth that they have is, again, operating leverage positive. We've had a very, consumption slowdown, not slowdown, but the growth in consumption has not been very great. And we believe that the next 1 year, we're going to see a great run up in consumption. So if SSSG comes in, then the operating leverage kicks through and the profitability can move up quite a bit. So corrections are buying opportunities. But from a longer term perspective, in the near term, given the fact that consumption is not there, given the fact that store expansion also is slated to come more in the second half of the year, it could be that the first half you will get another set of slightly slower numbers, and then you will see a pickup. So I would I would say even if this price is great to buy, but I'd wait for a little bit more of a correction closer to 5,300, 200. I think that may be a good investment point because then your CAGR returns will be better over a 4-5 year period.
So buy and dips should be the strategy for Trent is what Sameer is suggesting. All right. Our next caller, Raghu, is calling in from Bengaluru. Raghu, hi. A very good morning to you. I believe you have a question on GMR Airports.
Yeah, good morning, Mahima. See, I hold GMR Airport. Initially, I bought this 500 quantity, price of 95. Then I averaged it. So now currently it is average price is 90. So in 1 month duration, can I hold this or exit on cost now?
Okay, got your question, Raghu. I'll take this up with Jatin quickly. Jatin, do you think 1 month charts are attractive enough right now to stay invested in GMR Airports?
Yeah, I believe that this stock has undergone a bit of correction and thereafter it's starting the next leg of the up move, which can extend towards 95 to 96 odd levels. So I suggest to continue to hold with a stop loss placed at 86 rupees. So 86, below 86, you can exit. But as of now, the chart structure is suggesting that there is a upside towards 96, 97 from a 1 month perspective.
All right, so that's a view on GMR Airport. The next one's coming to you, Sameer, and this is on delivery. And this is from Mohit, who's writing in from Ludhiana, and he's bought at levels of 280. He's got a time frame of 3 years. So he's making some money right now, and quite a bit of it, actually. He's gaining about 33,000 rupees. Should he double down, or should he hold what he has? What's the view?
I think he can hold what he has. So I continue to believe that the last mile delivery business is only going to keep expanding in India, and Delivery is one of the companies that is focused there. Of course, there are other companies like Blue Dart and stuff as well. But all of them are trading at healthy valuation multiples. Operating leverages are there, but I don't think it's going to kick in that significant because they still have to keep hiring additional people. It's not going to be as great as some of the other businesses. Hold on. Stock has upside, but I wouldn't add on to the stock at this point of time.
We've got our next caller from Hyderabad. Dheeraj is calling us. Dheeraj, very good morning to you. How can we help you today?
Good morning, sir. My query is regarding Netweb Technologies. I purchased 70 shares of Netweb Technologies at 1,845 rupees.
Okay.
So I would like to hold it for the next 2 to 3 months. Its all-time high is around 3,000 rupees.
Yeah.
And I should be thankful for Samir Dalal, sir, as he suggested Keystone Realtors like last week at levels of 585 rupees, sir.
Okay. Okay.
So I would like to know some more recommendations from both the experts.
Okay, all right. So Samir, you heard it. I saw you smiling, not necessarily like a Cheshire cat, but wide enough. All right, let me go to Jatin. Jatin, what's the view on Netweb Technologies? 1844 is the buy price. What's the view for the next 3 months?
See, I believe that this stock is still in a downtrend. Recent pullback that we saw fizzled out around the 40-week average, that is around the 200-day moving average, and it's facing resistance and not freely moving higher. So I suggest to book out in the case of Netweb, because the structure is not looking promising from a 1 to 2 month kind of a perspective. So we could slip down, or the stock would slip down towards 1700 odd levels over the next couple of months. So exit is the recommendation.
Okay, all right. That's a view. Let's go to the next one, and we've got BEL, which is in focus today, but it's a view that is being sought for the next 6 months to a year. So Jatin, I'll come back to you on this one. Jairaman from Mysuru is asking about this. He's bought at levels of 222 years back, and the stock is trading nearly double that price, and he's making a solid gain, 46,000 rupees. He's wondering whether he can expect at least a 20% upside from this point over the course of the next 6 months to a year. Based on the charts, what are the indications?
Based on the charts, profit booking is advisable. It's almost double. So for a 20% up move, the best that he can do is trail the stop loss to a level that is 410 and continue to hold. But my serious advice would be to book out profits in some of these defense counters, because recently they have witnessed a sharp run up, and from here onwards the up move will be very slow, or even we can expect a correction. So I'm suggesting to book out profits in the case of BEL.
Book profits for defense packs is the view that Jatin has, and especially BEL is what he's suggesting. All right. Our next caller, Venkatesh, is calling in from Chennai, and I believe he also has a question on one of these defense companies. Venkatesh, hi. A very good morning to you. How can we help you?
Good morning, ma'am. Yesterday I got Paris Defense for 1,715.
Okay.
600 quantity.
Okay.
And today I surprised it got a split, 1:2. That is for 850 rupees. I got split. But still it is not credited the split, but I am running a profit of 80,000. So how can possible can I sell even though the split is not credited in my account?
The split is not credited in your account is what you're saying?
Yes. Effective date is today, but the split is not deposited in my DEMA account. But still, I can sell my profit. I can book the profit of 80,000.
We go to Samir because he's got more experience dealing with these things. Samir, I guess, am I right in assuming that on market closure and on the settlement today, you will have reflection, or what? Is that how it normally works on a record date? Not record date, on the X date.
So actually, Alex, even in this, something I have not ever tried, because we are long-term investors, so we don't wait for splits to sell and things like that.
Yeah.
But I would guess it would hit his account by the end of today, and maybe he can sell it tomorrow. So what he can probably do if he wants to book profit is sell his original holding.
Yeah.
If it's X today also, his name is already in the roster, so it's not going to affect him. He'll still get the shares. And given it's gone X only today, there's no chance he's going to get the shares today. So you always have this little bit of a lag. They can't give you the shares before it goes split, right? Because then if I give it to you 1 day prior, then you will actually sell it at the 1,800 rupees, what it would have been at, right? So it has to happen after, and there'll always be a little bit of a lull, I'm guessing, but is it 1 day or 2 days? That I don't have an answer.
Yes, so it's generally 1 or 2 days is what I am gathering. Post the record date is, it generally works like that. So it's Friday today. So by Monday or Tuesday,
record or X day?
Record.
Okay.
Yeah. So by Monday or Tuesday, it should be credited in your Demat account, Venkatesh. I hope that answers your query, Venkatesh. The next question is from Kirti, who is writing in from Hubli and wants to know the target price for Motherson is her question.
Wiring.
Motherson Wiring, yes, is her question. Jatin, I'll quickly come to you on this one. What are the charts indicating?
For Motherson Wiring, the immediate upside that we are seeing is around 64 to 65 rupees. On the downside, the support is placed at 58. So the stock is in an uptrend. However, it's consolidating in a range. So once this range breakout happens, then the stock can rise towards 64, 65. However, having said that, if she is already holding, then 58 rupees should be kept as a stop loss level for this position.
Okay, so that's a view on Motherson Wiring. The entire pack has been in focus in the recent past on account of the potential trade deal which could have a bearing on the stock, on these stocks rather. Aster DM, no, actually we've got our next caller. Murli is calling us from Bengaluru. Murli, very good morning to you. How can we help you today?
Good morning, Mr. Alex and Ms. Mahima.
Good morning, sir.
Co-panelists. Thank you for taking up my query.
Our pleasure.
My query is on GMDC,
okay.
Gujarat Mineral Development Corporation. I bought 1,000 shares at the rate of 482.29. I bought it in February 2024. And I bought it based on the premise that, it is not very high. It is about 18.9 PE. And they have got a allocation in Orissa, lignite coal, from 8.4 million ton per annum, they are going to jump to 21 million ton.
Right.
Plus they have a huge bauxite resource, and plus these rare earth minerals also, the GMDC is interested now because of the recent crisis. Considering all these things, I have a significant loss right now, though I am holding for more than 16 months now.
Yeah.
Is it worth holding considering the diverse material? Because by 2030, they are planning to 4 times volume.
Yes, understood.
So that's what they told.
Yeah.
So under circumstances, it's a better option to hold, even though I'm incurring significant loss.
Yes.
Or switch over to Natco or Coal India, which has a low PE and a higher dividend yield.
Right. I understood your question.
All are debt-free companies. Almost all are debt-free companies with the government. This is a diverse material company, a resource company.
Yeah.
But it is not delivering, and it has a huge result for a mere 63 crore capital.
Yes.
So with all the factors in mind, I am willing to wait.
Okay.
I understand. It's better to switch over to Coal India, which will give you better return, or Natco.
I understood your question. I'm not going to add too much to this. And Samir, I'm just going to come straight to you on the view, because it's a well-researched question. So what would you say?
So GMDC is actually an interesting hold. I would hold on to it. I think the long-term story for there is there. But you got to remember, these are commodity plays, right? So in a bullish commodity cycle, you always get good movements on the upside. And if the commodity prices come off, then you have to obviously, even though volumes may be increasing, face a bit of a time period of pain. Unfortunately, I think your investor got in a little too early in the expansion story. You always have gestation periods. So now that you've held on for 18 months, I think continue to hold. There is upside. And to the second question that you had, whether you should have Coal India because it gives a higher dividend. So Coal India's growth will never be the same percentage-wise that GMDC can scale up its operation. So that was your question. Should I move to Coal India from GMDC for the higher dividend? If you're more interested in dividend income and steady, stable growth, then Coal India. But if you want more capital appreciation, I think GMDC is where you should stay put.
All right, so it's a hold on GMDC. By the way, we have to slip into a very quick break, but before we do that, we had an exclusive first reaction from the Securities and Exchange Board of India on this entire Jane Street case that we've been speaking to you about since morning. And in fact, SEBI whole-time member Kamlesh Chandra Vashne told NDTV Profit that the SEBI will enter the picture whenever violations take place. Listen in.
Street order came today, and it is quite a shocking order with a big quantum. What is the regulator's stance against something that is so big in quantum, especially in terms of manipulation of Indian markets from a foreign player or entities like that?
So as we say always that we don't generally react on individual cases, but as a general, as I have said earlier, whenever SEBI sees violation taking place, we enter the picture, we try to correct the violation, we take enforcement action, but all our enforcement actions are without any bias, completely on merit and proportionate. So we make it a point that all of our enforcement actions fulfill these three criteria, completely on merit, without any bias and proportionate. So I think with this I will leave it over there, and it is for all others to judge.
It's the biggest event that markets and economy are looking at. A possible trade deal between India and the United States, which we could hear about any time soon. It will create a seismic shift in the way these two countries trade with each other. Who is going to come out on top of these hectic negotiations? Stay ahead on the story. Catch all the breaking news and the analysis only on NDTV Profit.
Imports become the exception rather than the norm, and increasingly we do almost last year, for example, of the contracts that we signed of record 2,09,000 crores, 81% was awarded to the domestic industry. Our intent is to manufacture in India, preferably with design also in India.
I am so elated to be on the same screen as the Defense Secretary, and I get a chance to talk about what he said.
In certain areas, like for example, artillery guns and armored vehicles, or in some categories of missiles like the BrahMos and the Akash, we've come of age.
What Defense Secretary Sir said is 100% true, and today
गोल्ड प्लस ऑप्टिमिस्टिक रिफ्लेक्टिव ग्लास लगाओ, धूप की गर्मी को दूर भगाओ और बिजली का बिल भी बचाओ।
It's the biggest event that markets and economy are looking at. A possible trade deal between India and the United States, which we could hear about any time soon. It will create a seismic shift in the way these two countries trade with each other. Who is going to come out on top of these hectic negotiations? Stay ahead on the story. Catch all the breaking news and the analysis only on NDTV Profit.
Imports become the exception rather than the norm, and increasingly we do almost last year, for example, of the contracts that we signed of record 2,09,000 crores, 81% was awarded to the domestic industry. Our intent is to manufacture in India, preferably with design also in India.
I am so elated to be on the same screen as the Defense Secretary, and I get a chance to talk about what he said.
Welcome back. You're watching Ask Profit, a show that gets all your stock-related queries answered. Viewers who are just tuning in, you can either call us or WhatsApp us on the numbers that are flashing on your screen. All right, now on this side of the show, we're also joined by Rajesh Bhosle, Equity Technical and Derivative Analyst at Angel One, joining us now. Hi, good morning, Rajesh. I'll take the next question from Aniket, who's writing in from Karnataka, and he wants to know good long-term mid-cap stocks in the hotel or real estate sector is what he's saying. saying. So Samir, I'll come to you on this one. Which one would you pick from both of these spaces, or any one of the spaces?
So I think in both spaces there are companies that you can make investments in, right? So Indian Hotels is a company that we've discussed. It's a largest mid cap, you can say. It's got great growth opportunity. The Indian tourism sector is only going to keep growing, and especially for domestic travel, Taj, the brand that they have, is synonymous for travel in India. They've also got now the lower category Ginger, which is expanding very rapidly. They're following a very low cost model, which will allow them to have relatively good return on equity and capital. So I think that is one investment they can make in the hotel space. I also like another company, I'll just throw it out there, small companies, IRG Hotels, and we've discussed this on your channel. They are also expanding. They've reached about 17 hotels, and their target is to reach about 30 hotels by the end of next year, December next year. So it's a small company growing. And then the protection that I have from there is that they are the shareholders, promoters of Barbecue Nation. If I just take the value of Barbecue Nation, it's more than the value of Sayaji Hotel. So 34% that they own. So I'm in effect getting this Sayaji Hotel, the hotel business free of cost. So that is one thing if you all can study and look at, it'll be interesting disclosure. I'm shareholders in both of them. Then from the real estate space, one of the stocks we did discuss, and we said we have invested in last week also, we told you we are invested, we want to stay invested for the next 2 to 3 years, is Keystone Realty. We believe Boman, who's running the company, is doing a phenomenal job. He's getting constantly looking at redevelopment projects. And in Bombay, the city of Bombay, where their Rustamji brand is very famous, there's a huge scope for redevelopment. And I think this is one of the counters that will do really well over time. Again, he's low debt, very, very low debt. He's raised capital recently. Of course, debt may move up because of his projects, but he has to pay the money upfront to certain of these people to vacate before they come back in. And then he sells his projects and gets cash flow. So I think it's going to be a period of time, but I think that's in the real estate space, one of the stocks that we like. We think the other stocks in real estate are good. Godrej is good, but it's run up a lot. Prestige is a phenomenal company, but again, the stock has run up a lot. So corrections might be better opportunities to look at that, whereas Keystone is something we like at this point of time.
Okay. Since we're on the subject of real estate, let me very quickly get a view on DB Realty as well. And we've got Sushila from Bellary, who's writing in and says that she has bought at levels of 231, 556 shares, wondering what to do. Valor Estate is the name of the account, of course. I'll come to you, Rakesh. What's the view?
So it's Rajesh.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Valor Estate, also known as DB Realty, the stock has seen strong traction since last couple of months. And the bias remains positive as it is continuously moving in a higher top, higher bottom formation. Since it has already moved, we are seeing some consolidation, but overall structure remains positive. We expect the stock to move towards its all-time high of 275. And on the downside, if we see somewhere around 215 to 220, strong base formation is happening. So can hold on to it. 215 will be the stop loss. And if a position can be held for like a 6 months, we are expecting 275 levels.
Rajesh, you're the second person today that I've messed up the name of, and the first person I owe a coffee to. And so I will have to buy you a coffee as well.
I think you need coffee first.
I need coffee. I need some coffee.
Samir is saying he needs coffee too.
Samir, I've never gotten your name wrong.
No, but I don't mind the coffee.
You don't mind the coffee? Okay. All right. Coffee for you as well. Aster DM is the name of the counter we're looking at next. And Shweta Kohli is bought at levels of 375. Let's pull that up and see where it's currently trading. It was up and about in trade yesterday on phenomenal volumes. Very, very large volumes. 638 is where it is at right now. So on the charts, Rajesh, what would you say that she do?
So yes, as you highlighted yesterday, there was a strong surge along with volumes, and some consolidation is there in today's session. But overall, the bias remains positive. As we can see, it has crossed above its May swing high and continues with its higher top, higher bottom formation. So continue to hold on to it. Somewhere around 610, we can see strong support. And the upside, the reciprocal retracement comes around 680 to 690. So it's a buy on dip with a target of 680 to 690 levels.
Okay, it's a buy on dips is the view that Rajesh has on Aster DM. All right, our next caller, Arvind, is calling in from Uttar Pradesh. Arvind, hi, a very good morning to you. I believe you have a question on Apollo Hospitals.
Yes, good morning, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning.
मैम एक्चुअली मेरे पास अपोलो हॉस्पिटल के शेयर्स हैं 350 शेयर्स हैं।
ठीक है।
ये मैंने जब आपका जो चैनल ब्लूमबर्ग हुआ करता था उस वक्त तब मैंने खरीदे थे आपका एक इसमें सितंबर में 2020 में।
इंटरेस्टिंग।
हाँ 1750 के रेट पे मैंने 6 लाख के शेयर 6,12,000 के शेयर खरीदे थे। तो अभी तो मुझे
अरविंद मुझे ये सवाल करना है कि आप उस टाइम के आस्क BQ शो में आपने सवाल किया था
क्या सर?
इस बारे में आपने जब शेयर खरीदा था उस टाइम पे आपने आस्क BQ नाम का एक शो हुआ करता था, कॉलर क्वेरी शो।
यस सर
उसमें पूछ के आपने ले लिया था?
सर मैंने उस वक्त पूछा था सर, क्योंकि उस वक्त मैं कॉलेज में हुआ करता था।
हाँ।
तो मैं देखा करता था आपके चैनल्स वगैरह, ये मेरे को अच्छा लगता था तो मैं देखता था कि काफी अच्छी रिसर्च है।
क्या बात है, दिस इज अ फैंटास्टिक स्टोरी। आपने तो हमारा फॉरगेट दिन आप वीकेंड भी बन गया, मतलब साल भी बन गया। आपने बहुत खुशी हुई आपने ये रिमेंबर किया और हमें थोड़ा सा क्रेडिट भी दे दिया। बट लेट मी आस्क यू अ क्वेश्चन एक्चुअली, महिमा सॉरी आई हाईजैक द क्वेश्चन।
नो प्रॉब्लम। आई थिंक फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल अरविंद कांग्रेचुलेशंस, क्योंकि आप 20 लाख के प्रॉफिट पे बैठे हो, तो आई थिंक आपको हमें पार्टी फॉर श्योर देनी चाहिए। बट अरविंद, तो आपको ये आपने फंडामेंटल्स देखे होंगे मेरे ख्याल से कंपनी के, और बाय किया था।
यस सर, फंडामेंटल्स देखे थे मैम मैंने। एंड रिसेंटली मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि ये अभी गैप अप हुआ था शेयर, तो ये गैप फिलिंग नहीं किया है इसने।
अच्छा।
तो गैप फिलिंग काफी दिनों से किया नहीं है, तो मुझे लगता है गैप फिलिंग के लिए आएगा अब शेयर, तो नाइट में मुझे बुक कर देना चाहिए और दोबारा जब नीचे मिले तो मुझे खरीद लेना चाहिए।
अच्छा, टेक्निकल बेसिस पे। बट आपका बाइंग प्राइस तो 1750 है और अभी स्टॉक ऑलमोस्ट 7500 पे है।
यस मैम।
ठीक है, तो आपको टेक्निकल व्यू चाहिए, लेकिन अब क्या आपको प्रॉफिट्स बुक करने चाहिए या नहीं?
यस
ठीक है, ओके अरविंद, ठीक है। मैं समझ गई आपकी क्वेश्चन। आई टेक दिस अप विद राजेश। आपका क्या कहना है, चार्ट्स क्या इंडिकेट कर रहे हैं कि प्रॉफिट्स बुक कर लेने चाहिए क्योंकि 20 लाख के प्रॉफिट पे बैठे हैं अरविंद जी, या फिर थोड़ी देर और रुकना चाहिए और प्रॉफिट्स शायद देख सकते हैं वो चार्ट्स पे?
देखिए, ओवरऑल चार्ट स्ट्रक्चर तो काफी पॉजिटिव है एंड लगभग जो इसके रिसेंट स्विंग आइज है नवंबर के लगभग 7600 के आसपास है, तो कहीं ना कहीं रेजिस्टेंस पे है, बट अंडरटोन अभी भी पॉजिटिव है। एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा हूँ यहाँ से 8000 और 8200 लेवल्स भी एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं। थोड़ा सा ओवरबॉट है तो कंसोलिडेशन में जा सकता है। इन्होंने हाईलाइट किया एक गैप रह गया है, तो 7400 के आसपास का गैप है, तो कोई भी डिप आता है तो वो गैप जो है सपोर्ट के जैसा एक्ट करेगा। बट हैविंग सेड दैट बायस पॉजिटिव है। 8000 से 8200 हम नियर टर्म में एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं।
अरविंद जी, मैं ये सवाल समीर से भी लेना चाहूँगा, क्योंकि दिस इज़ अ परचेज दैट यू मेड इन 2020। तो समीर, इसका इंटरप्रिटेशन होगा कि ही वुड हैव टू पे कैपिटल गेन्स टैक्स ऑन इट to the extent of 12.5%, and so therefore I'm just asking about risk reward here. What do you think?
So Alex, I wanted to enter this conversation because this is something very important that your viewers and everyone in India should realize. जब आप ये शेयर, when you sell this share after having such a huge profit, आप समझो कि 10% नीचे स्टॉक गिरता है. Say the stock falls from 7,500 to 6,500, right? Now 2,000 to 7,000 you have made or 7,500 जो भी अभी रेट है, you made a profit of 5,500 जिस पे आप 12.5% दे दोगे. So in effect you're giving away 700 rupees per share to government in the form of taxes. Now when you buy 1,000 rupees down, in effect आपको कितना मिला? 300 रुपया. गवर्नमेंट ने 700 ले लिया. पर अगर वो स्टॉक नीचे नहीं आया तो आपकी क्वालिटी कंपनी आपके हाथ से छूट जाएगी. So sometimes to get this little bit of return, I would advise people not to make these kind of trades when you have these profits, because you're giving in effect the money to the government. जब long term capital gains tax नहीं था, that time it made sense, but with these new structures that the current government has put in place, ये सब trades please execute मत करो. ये if you think the company is doing well, and I believe Apollo Hospital is doing well, और जो उनकी expansion plans है अच्छी है, stay invested. Don't try to make that 100, 200 rupees extra and lose out on maybe 2,000, 3,000 rupees on upside.
All right. I mean, that's the answer that everybody here was looking
100%.
for, and that's something that every investor should keep in mind. And that was the right question to ask, also,
Thank
Alex.
you.
So thank you so much for that, Samir. To you as well. All right. The next question is from Satyan, who wants to make a fresh entry in Home First Finance Bank and wants to know if he can do that at current levels or not. Rajesh, I'll come to you on this one. Do you think this is the right time to make an entry in Home First Finance?
So in last 3-4 sessions, the stock has sharply corrected from the levels of 1500 to somewhere around 1320. So undertone for the stock is positive, but in the short term there is some weakness. So in the near term, we have seen that any dip towards 50 EMA has been bought. So ideal level to buy would be somewhere around 1250, where a previous breakout has also been witnessed. So as of now, can wait because the short term momentum is on the downside, but 1250 looks strong support, and if prices dips around that levels, that would be a good entry point.
So that's a view, Satyan, on Home First. We've got a next caller from Hyderabad. Snigdha is calling us. Snigdha, very good morning. How can we help you today?
Hello everyone, good morning. So my question is regarding Torrent Power.
Okay.
I purchased 110 shares at 1455 rupees.
All right.
So is it the correct time I've invested on it, or do you want me to drop out of it and invest on any other stock like TCS or L&T?
Well, I can't possibly tell you what to do, but I can ask my experts to give you advice. You'll have to tell us what you're looking at, though. When you bought at 1455, you said, what was the thinking? Did you think that you would hold for the long term?
So I just want to hold it for 3 months.
3 months, okay.
So I thought it was consolidating since so long, and the all-time high is 1950 or something.
Yes.
So
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the charts, what the prospects are. I got your question, Snigdha. Let me go across to Rajesh on the charts. Rajesh, 1455, not too far away from the current market price. What is the potential to go up to those heady levels of 1900?
So the viewer herself told that the stock is in consolidation, and this stock has not performed well as compared to the broader market. So downside seems limited. On the downside, if we see base formation is happening somewhere around 1350 to 1380, but on the upside as well, we don't see much on the upside. So if we see any bounce towards 200 DMA is getting sold into. So advice would be that if there is any bounce back, levels around 1600 is what we are expecting to be a stiff hurdle. Last month during May also, the stock showed some traction, but when it tested 1600, there was correction. So we would be to hold for now. 1380 is a support, and on the downside, when it moves towards 1600, should lighten up position in this.
Okay, hold is the view on Torrent Power where charts are concerned. All right, the next question is from Dinesh, who's writing in from Gurgaon. His question is on Coal India and wants to know if it's a good buy at the current levels. It's trading at 385 rupees right now, and his time horizon is for the next 12 odd months. Rajesh, again, your view on the charts for Coal India?
So as far as 1 year is concerned, we don't see any major traction. The stock is definitely forming a base around 375 to 380. But if we consider 1 year's time frame, we don't see any major upside in the counter. If we compared that to cement space or auto space, that is the space where we expect momentum to trigger in the next 6 months. So as far as Coal India is concerned, we can expect a move towards 400, but that is a stiff resistance. And once that is crossed, then we can expect a broad-based move towards the 450. So as of now, it's the consolidation. And if the viewer has a view from a 1 year's point of view, cement and auto is what we are focusing on.
Okay, all right. Cement and auto is what they're focusing on. Let's quickly take the next question. It's on KRN heat exchangers. And Kaushik has got this question. Bought at levels of 60, 50. Apologies, this is getting tongue-tied here. 655 is the buy price. What would you do? Would you hold or would you book profit at this point? What's the view, Samir? If I'm not mistaken, not a very long time this has been listed. Do you have any views? Okay, no. Rajesh, I don't know if you have enough data. Do you have enough data to tell me whether to hold on at this point?
So yeah, we do have a limited data on the charts. recently there is a double bottom formation that is seen. So that breakout levels around 800 can be kept as a stop loss. And on the high side, a previous swing high around 950 would be the resistance. So limited data, but with limited data, what we can say is 800 is the support and 925 is the resistance.
Okay, so that's with regards to where KR and Heat Exchanger stands. The next caller, Ranjit, is calling in from Maharashtra. Ranjit, hi, a very good morning to you. How can we help you today?
Ma'am, I have bought Torrent Pharma,
Natco Pharma.
Natco Pharma at 1200 and quantity is 300.
Okay.
Now it is below that price, and I guess the pharmaceutical company is being exposed to US market, and there are so many restrictions from their side, and the business has been impacted. So I may hold it for 3 to 4 years, or I should exit with minimal loss.
Okay, got your question, Ranjit. I'll take this up with Samir. Samir is sitting on a loss of 65,000 rupees almost. Do you think Natco Pharma is the right counter to play the theme?
So I think Natco Pharma is a good company. They have a lot of backward R&D that they do in the sense that the drug developments. Apart from that, what they're selling in the US market, what they also have a tie-up is if certain drugs are very expensive in the US and international markets, they are able to make a similar kind of product and sell it in the Indian market at a cheaper rate. So they're able to capture a great amount of business in the Indian market, which would not be possible for international companies to cater to because of the kind of markets that India has. So from both the export business and the domestic business, I think Natco Pharma does well. Yes, there have been some regulatory hurdles in the sense I think if I'm not mistaken, they had a inspection recently where a couple observations were made. But I think, eventually it doesn't happen immediately, but over the next 2 months to 6 months, they will take care of these observations, and I think things will move forward. Natco Pharma is not so expensive on valuations also, according to us, and the stock can do well, so stay invested. If anything, you can buy a little more.
Okay, all right. You can buy a little more as a view. Hope that answers the question. Mansingh is calling us from Andhra Pradesh. Very good morning, sir. How can we help you today?
Sir, good morning, sir. I'm holding Inox India.
Okay.
120 shares. Average price at 1240 rupees. Recently, it has broken its resistance level 1250-55.
Right.
I want to know the technical and fundamental view, and what are the levels where should I accumulate more?
Okay.
Is it a right strategy to accumulate now?
What is the time frame that you have, Mansingh?
2 to 3 years. I can hold up to 5 years, sir.
So it's a long-term
3 to 5
query.
years.
It's a long-term
Yes,
query,
sir,
but you're asking for technical levels. Let me go across to Samir on this one. On the fundamentals, what's the view on Inox India? Would you add more at the current price?
So not at the current price. I'd wait for corrections. The business will continue to grow, we believe, over a period of time. I think about 15 to 20% is our expectation. I haven't read the recent report that my analyst has given out, so I don't know the exact numbers at the top of my head. But we think the company will do well. Valuations are a bit pricey, so the reason we have a hold on the stock at the moment is that we think the stock should correct down, but it's a long-term good play.
Okay, all right. Rahul from Jaipur is messaged in, and he's bought KPIT Tech at a price of 1365. He's got a significant quantity, 2,390 shares, and so therefore at this point, because of the drop in the price, so it's not a very substantial drop in the price, but he's incurring a loss of 2.42 lakh. He's got a short-term view on the stock. So Rajesh, on the technicals, what would you do with this?
Yeah, so 2 weeks back, there was some news in this counter, and from there, the stock has seen a sharp fall. But if we consider at current level, the stock is forming a base somewhere around 1250 to 1240, and there are some positive divergence on the RSI. So from here onwards, short-term positive traction we are expecting possibly towards 1250 currently it is trading towards 1310 to 1330, where there is a strong confluence zone of 50 and 89 EMA. So 1320 to 1330 would be the ideal level to exit, and on the downside, if the stock slips below 1220, there would be further weakness. So 1220 would be the stop loss, and on the upside 1320 would be the resistance.
Okay, so that's in regards to where KPIT Tech stands. Our next caller, Ramana, is calling in from Hyderabad. Ramana, hi, a very good morning to you. I believe you have a question on Graphite India.
Yes, madam. I'm holding Graphite India for the past 9 months.
Okay.
But since my buy price, it is not going up from that. Actually, it is going to 500. Again, it is coming back. It is going like that only. It is keep on. It's coming. I don't understand because should I have to hold it or should I have to switch to some other counter? I need to ask that.
Okay, and when you bought this, Ramana, did you see the charts while buying it?
Before, madam. 9 months.
Agreed, but did you see the charts while buying it, or did you see the fundamentals of the company?
No, that time thinking that metal stocks like that graphite, that sector
Okay,
should
understood.
shoot up, I thought actually.
Okay, got your question, Ramana. I'll take this up with Samir. Samir, what's your view on Graphite India?
So I think he can hold on. I think the opportunity for graphite players, especially the two HEG and graphite, a limited number of players globally. I think there's 7 players globally, of which HEG kind of controls one internationally as well. And with the electric batteries coming in, the graphite requirement in these electric batteries remains. So these companies are going to get good long-term systematic growth, I believe. Secondly, the focus on global making clean steel, which is using the electric arc furnace method, is going to continue to increase. And that too is going to be driving the growth for graphite globally. And like I said, there are limited number of players. HEG and graphite both are putting in a little bit more of capacity. Once they come about, they'll do well. So I say hold on to graphite. But if he wants, so if I had to pick one out of the two, I pick HEG first, but even graphite's a great company. So hold on to that one.
Okay, all right. We've got our next question from Chandra, writing from Germany, I believe. 3,000 shares of Supriya Life Sciences at an average price of 697. Oh, actually, no. So that's an old question. Let me ask the new one. It is to analyze Borosil Renewables. Apologies. Let's pull that up. Is this the right time to enter? Is the question, Rajesh, on the charts?
So it's on Borosil Renewable, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So as of now, can avoid. I mean, the short term as well as the high time frame looks negative. On the downside, if stock slips further towards 450 to 440 levels, there we are seeing strong support because in the past as well, whenever the stock has dipped towards 450, 440, upside is triggered. So as of now, the momentum is on the negative side. So can wait, but towards 450 definitely can be entered.
Okay, it's time for the rapid fire round, gentlemen. And Rajesh, since this is the first time you're doing this with me, just a reminder, keep your answer as quick as possible. We'll throw as many questions at you and Samir over the course of 2 minutes. The first one is on defense companies. Which company would you buy for a period of 3 to 5 years? Mallikarjun wants to know. Samir?
So I would actually avoid buying most of them, but if I had to pick one, BEL is the best opportunity for long term.
Okay, the next question is on Tata Power. Devinder from Hyderabad wants to know if this is the right time to buy Tata Power, or what's the best way to play the power theme. Samir, your view?
So Tata Power is a buy. You can buy it right away. The best way to play a power theme, I think, is to get into a company like either Tata Power or NTPC Green, where the green energy focuses.
Okay, Zydus Life is the name of the counter. It was in focus not too long back because of a large acquisition. Hema wants to know, she's bought levels of 1,190. Should it be added on dips? What's the view, Samir?
You can add it on dips, yes, maybe closer to 900.
Okay, RK Developers is the next counter. Sai Kumar is holding 12,000 odd shares at 180 rupees. Wants to know the outlook for 12 months. Rajesh, on the charts?
Yeah, so overall chart structure look positive. Immediate resistance is at 200. Once that is crossed, 250 can be expected.
Okay. CAMS is the name of the counter. Bought at levels of 3,363. Long-term view is being short. Samir, Kaushik from Vadodara wants to know. What's the view?
Hold on and buy on dips.
Okay, Jyoti CNC is the next counter. Satish Kumar has bought 450 shares at 1080 rupees. Wants to know medium-term outlook. Rajesh, on the charts?
So needs to exit because we are expecting further dip towards 950 levels.
Okay, Ircon is the name of the counter. 294.83 is the buy price. Rajiv wants to know 785 is the quantity. Should he hold or sell? Rajesh?
Can hold on to it. 185 would be the support, and on the high side 230, 240 is what we are expecting.
Okay, Bosch is the next counter. Jagdish from Chennai bought 20 shares at 31,595. Wants to know if you can hold for a month. Rajesh, on the charts?
Yeah, definitely hold on to it. Looks positive. 3,800 is what we are expecting.
Significant capital that is available. Wow, for a period of a month. All right, on that note, gentlemen, thanks so much for joining in. Samir as well as Rajesh, I got your name right and wish you a happy weekend. Take care.
I'll still take the coffee though.
I'll get back to you on that one. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of this edition of Ask Profit. From Mahima and myself and the team that put the show together, thank you so much for watching. Do stay tuned. This is NDTV Profit.
तू ही तो है जिसकी सच्चाई वाली क्लैरिटी की वजह से मैं आज यहाँ हूँ।
गोल्ड प्लस सिल्वॉक्सी मिरर्स, ऐसी क्लैरिटी कि आपको सिर्फ सच नजर आए, चाहे कितने भी साल बीत जाएं।
It's the biggest event that markets and economy are looking at. A possible trade deal between India and the United States, which we could hear about any time soon. It will create a seismic shift in the way these two countries trade with each other. Who is going to come out on top of these hectic negotiations? Stay ahead on the story. Catch all the breaking news and the analysis only on NDTV Profit.
Imports become the exception rather than the norm, and increasingly we do almost last year, for example, of the contracts that we signed of record 2,09,000 crores, 81% was awarded to the domestic industry. Our intent is to manufacture in India, preferably with design also in India.
I am so elated to be on the same screen as the Defense Secretary, and I get a chance to talk about what he said.
In certain areas, like for example, artillery guns and armored vehicles, or in some categories of missiles like the BrahMos and the Akash, we've come of age.
What Defense Secretary Sir said is 100% true, and today private industry can really increase their involvement in R&D.
I am very proud to say that we make, in our categories that we have been supplying to our defense forces, some of the best platforms in the world.
The markets move fast.
And so should your portfolio. Expert insights, real-time stock picks.
Do I buy Ola?
Should I hold CDSL for the long term?
Buy, sell or hold.
The answers you need, straight from the experts.
Callers from India and across the world. Connect live, ask, decide and invest wisely.
Your portfolio, your future. Ask Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy